Hi Cheryl, how
Hi
are you
there.
today?
Doing well, thanks.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming and joining us for this interview. So we wanted to share with folks about what it's like to be a CASA volunteer and to also learn a little bit about you, because it's people like you who do the work for our kids in foster care. And so we're doing this as part of our month of April, which is Child Abuse Awareness Month. And so part of our Pinwheels for CASA, we wanted to use this opportunity to share with people the stories that are behind CASA. And so you being somebody who's been with CASA for some time, we thought you would be a great person to have this interview with.
Okay.
So got some questions for you. And so just, feel free to answer whichever way you would like.
Okay.
All right, so why don't we start with your name and how long you've been a CASA volunteer?
Okay, my name is Cheryl Collins, and I've been a CASA a little over 10 years.
10 years, that's a whole decade.
I
A
know.
decade with CASA.
Yeah, and I was brunette. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it. So outside of your role as a CASA, who would you say Cheryl Collins is? And what do you do with your time? What kind of hobbies and passions do you have?
Well, since I've been a CASA, I became a grandma who's known as Mimi. So I love spending time with my grandsons. They're twins.
Oh, wow.
So they just turned 8, and that's one of my passions, is spending time with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm retired, 13 years now,
Wow.
and before that I was a public health nurse, and that's how I got CASA. They did a in-service I was a public health nurse. They did an in-service about CASA, and I said to the speaker, I'll do CASA when I retire. And then I ran into her in the public, and she goes, "Are you retired yet?" And I went, "Oh, no." So that's how I got involved in CASA. I wanted to do something that wasn't medical. And so that's how I became a CASA.
Wow. And now you've been here for 10 years.
Yes.
Amazing. So, what inspired you to take that step and becoming an advocate for children in foster care?
Well, my first degree was in child development, so I just had a heart for kids.
Yeah.
My first jobs were babysitting, so even as a really young Girl Scout kid, whatever's growing up, I always liked doing something with children.
Yeah.
Except when I was in nursing school, I didn't like sick kids, so it was kind of strange. But then when I went to nursing school, that wasn't an area I picked. But anyway, I always had a passion for kids.
Yeah.
And I worked for an agency called CCS, or California Children's Services, and then knowing about sick children and all that, and kids, we had to mandate a reporter. As a nurse, you're a mandated reporter, and knowing about kids that are taken away from their kids or making referrals and things. I just had this passion for that, and so that's how I wanted to do something with CASA.
Yeah. Well, it's wonderful. We're glad to have you. Glad that those things brought you to us. So, can you remember, it's been some time, but can you remember what it was like going through the CASA training and how it prepared you for your first case?
Well, when I went through the training, it was in person, so it was classes, and I thought it was a very thorough training. And with my degree in child development, it was just kind of and then being a public health nurse, because a lot of that is you learn about the development of kids through their stages from birth, to adolescence, etc. And then, of course, I knew nothing about the juvenile justice system. And I still sometimes go, oh, now what? And when I go to court, I go, oh, now what's this court hearing for? The numbers and things. And that's where the supervising, that I have the supervisor I have, so wonderful. keeping me, oh yeah, it's this kind or whatever, and now who was that, you know, what's it, and they're very helpful
Yeah.
with that, because it's, sometimes I think after 10 years you'd think I'd get that, but they don't go, well, you're supposed to know that.
You're right.
No, they just embrace you and go, it's okay, this is what that is, and
Yeah.
they're very supportive of that, so.
Oh, it's a lot of acronyms, a lot of numbers and point ones and sixes and all of that stuff. So I'm glad you have that support. So, what would you say has been the most fulfilling part of being a CASA volunteer?
I have a child now that I've had for almost 9, I think it's 9 years,
Oh my
8.5
gosh.
years. And when I got the child, she was 8 and 8.5, and just turning 9, and now she's 18. And seeing the growth and development from anger and not being able to read very well, and now passion for reading, going to college, that's just been amazing
Yeah.
to see that. And then other times, short times when I've had CASAs where the parents are able to go to parenting classes, and the case gets closed because the parents have followed through, going to you know, pass their drug testing clean, and that to me is really an exciting time when we're not needed anymore.
Yeah, it's a little bittersweet.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
but that's what you want.
Right.
You want success.
Yeah, no, and you know, a lot of kids don't get that, you know,
Yeah.
happy ending, so to speak. They get to go back to their parents and all of that. So it is always what we want, and when we're not needed anymore.
Yeah.
So, what would you say has been the most challenging part of being an advocate?
Well, I had a family where a stepfather was about my age. This was when I was pretty new as an advocate. The mom was probably in her 20s, and when we went to court the first time, my recommendation was that the continued with counseling and continued with CASA. And after that, they were so angry because they didn't want that. And when I would go on my visits, they would answer the door, but they would not say one thing to me, not one word.
Oh, wow.
And it was very uncomfortable, but I figure I'm not there for them, I'm there for the child, so, but at least they let me in.
Yeah.
So I'd say that was probably the most difficult one.
Right. Well, I like what you said about we're not there for them, we're there for the children. You know, our advocacy is completely centered around the children and their needs. And it's one of my favorite things about our advocacy is that we're just focused on the children.
Correct, yeah, so.
Well, do you have a sort of memorable moment that sticks out to you from your time as a CASA advocate?
Well, it was interesting. It's fresh in my mind because I just went with my CASA that I have now. She's aged out, but we can continue having an advocate can choose you to continue after they are 18. I didn't know that. I learned that. And she's changing apartments. And the interviewer, which is over the placement, you probably know what it's called. Anyway, and he asked her, do you have a support system? And she said, yeah, my mom's. And then, she didn't say that first. She said, Cheryl, and that's my name. And I just went, almost fell out of my chair. But because I wasn't expecting that. And that was, for me, I went, wow, I guess I'm okay. I'm doing an okay job.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And another memorable moment. I don't know. That's the one that just sticks because it just happened last week.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That had to have felt good that you're
it did.
being recognized
You know,
for
and
being
I'm not
there.
doing it for that. I'm
Right.
doing that to help that child get to be successful, you know. When you read through the reports, when you get your new CASA, and you read what they've been through, I'm just flabbergasted that these kids can survive, you know. And that my kid's doing in college and in an apartment, and you know, I'm just,
That's amazing.
I know it is, because I'm going, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, I came from a really solid family. You know, they paid for my college and bought me a car, and I'm thinking, and I thought it was tough. And I'm just going, wow, these kids. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that having somebody there through all of the ups and downs that comes from being in foster care made a big difference for her. You know, sometimes you just need someone who's willing to be there, and it sounds like.
And she had a foster family that still has been amazing to her.
Oh wow, that's
so
wonderful.
She's very lucky.
Yeah, no kidding.
And very supportive for her. So.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Well, I think you've kind of talked about this a little bit. We were going to ask you how you think having a CASA has impacted your CASA youth's life. It sounds like you've had a very big impact with her being in college now and in her own apartment. Where is she going to school now, and what is she studying?
She's going to Bakersfield College, and right now she's doing her GED requirement. Not GED, it would be her.
Is it the general education that she's doing?
Yeah, and she's not sure. She started out wanting to be a history teacher.
Okay.
And then she's kind of not sure, phlebotomy, and I kind of went, you know. And then when we were together last week, maybe I'll be a hairdresser, I'm not sure. But you know how it is when you're young and a kid. But she has goals of being, trying to get, she has 2 half-sisters and trying to get guardianship. That's it, guardianship of her 2 half-sisters. So that they can be in a better environment.
How wonderful.
They don't live in this county, so
She's working towards being that person for them.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's incredible to hear, you know, how, I mean, you've been on this journey with her for some time now, and you've seen her, you know, go through childhood, then preteen and teen, and now young adult, and now she's looking to the future and is envisioning who she wants to be as an adult.
Right.
And who she wants to be to others.
And how she doesn't want to be as an adult as well because of her experience. The other thing is she was AWOL for a very long time.
Oh wow.
And still a year, and still able to graduate.
Wow, she must be very bright.
Very amazing. And so I'm very, very proud of her for that, because that wasn't easy.
Right.
So.
Amazing. That's such a nice story to hear. What would you say your hopes are for your CASA youth's life?
That she can be a citizen that is able to give back to society in a positive way, and that's kind of why I'm encouraging college for her to stay in, because I think she'd be an amazing teacher, because she takes with her a wealth of experiences, real life experiences from what she's gone through.
Right.
And I guess you can do that while you're doing hair, and you talk to your clients, you know what I mean? Because you've got them there, they can't go anywhere while you're, and yeah, I just want her to, I mean, I just know wherever she goes, she's going to take that wealth of experience that she's been through.
Yeah. And pass it on.
Absolutely.
Pass that on.
So,
you know.
yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, we're going to switch gears a little bit. So if someone is considering becoming a CASA volunteer, but they're feeling a little unsure, about moving forward, what would you say to them?
I would say don't be discouraged, go for it. Because the staff here will encourage you and to hold your hand and walk you through it. And anyone can be a CASA. If you want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to have an educational background. I mean, I just happen to have it, but I mean, if you have a giving, caring heart, you can do it. And they will support you, and they'll give you the tools to be successful.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Cheryl, one more question.
Okay.
So, pinwheels symbolizes the hope and the joy that every child deserves. And so it's our symbol for Child Abuse Awareness Month in the month of April. So what are some of your thoughts of joy and hope that you would like to share before we go?
Every child needs to feel happiness and security and safe. And I think that's one of the things that CASA is able to give these kids. We're doing this talk in our clubhouse, and it's a place where the advocates can bring their child to play. There's books, I guess, behind us. There's foosball, there's all kinds of games. But they're small kids, they can dress up and play house. There's older kids, they can cook in here. But everybody needs some place to feel safe and have fun and laugh. In nursing school, they told me, don't lose your sense of humor, and that's something that is so important, laughter and having fun. And I think CASA's a good thing. And even when you go to court, because that's kind of scary. I mean, I've never been in trouble, so I never went to court ever.
It can be so intimidating.
Oh my gosh. But your advocate, supervisor will go with you till you feel comfortable. And the judges are amazing. And anyway, the kid gets to talk. That was, my advocate just loved it. That the judge asked her, do you have anything to say? Or, or she didn't even do that. She'd go, how's school going? How are you? How are you doing? And that's why I think CASA is so good. Joy and happiness and
And every child deserves that. And it sounds like you've had a very big role in making that happen for someone.
I hope so. I don't know, but I think I've tried. I guess I'll just say that I've tried.
Yeah, well, you've done a wonderful job, Cheryl. Well, thank you again for coming and joining us and sharing your story with everybody about what it's like to be a CASA volunteer. And we hope to find more people like you who are willing to show up and be that caring person for someone and to have a big impact in their life. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, and it's been a pleasure being a CASA.
Oh, thank you, Cheryl.